when the population is suffering in such a terrible way, and we have a good weapon, we have to continue to fight, and we did it.
Hey guys, welcome to another Heavy Metal Diecast video and another Fighters of World War II. So obviously this is by Atlas Collections as per usual, and this bad boy will be an aircraft flown by Adolf Galland. I'm pretty sure most of you would know who Adolf Galland is. He was a Luftwaffe fighter pilot, extremely famous. By the end of 1941, he had already achieved 96 aerial victories, earning the Knight's Cross with oak leaves and swords. But and after the death of his friend Werner Mulders, he was promoted to General der Jagdflieger, or General of the Fighter Force, and he was actually forbidden to fly. So he was no longer allowed to go into combat. So as we struggle to get this packet open, so he did remain in that position until 1945, and he was returned to active duty because he's primarily of his criticism of Goering, which was he was a bit of a knob, and was even put under house arrest at one stage, which is just insane. But by March 1945, he was actually allowed to fly again, and he formed a jet fighter unit, which this is his aircraft from. So we will get that aircraft out, which is a Messerschmitt 262 A-1 White 3, and it does come with a stand and all the accessories. It's got some under fuselage tanks and some rocket system. And what we'll do is we'll have a look at the aircraft itself, which is the very important part. And overall, look, with all these Atlas builds, I think they are, for what they are, this is another $35 item for me. Price-wise, I think they're reasonably good value for what you're getting. And I think these Fighter Ace ones have been pretty cool because you're getting pretty specific aircraft and pretty specific markings. So I think it's pretty cool. So this particular aircraft, which he did fly, he did get 7 aerial victories with this Messerschmitt, and he did end the war with 104 aerial victories with over 700 combat missions flown. But I think overall the build of the aircraft itself is fairly nice. I think it's a fairly decent rendition. So obviously the landing gear and everything goes there. The under fuselage weaponry or tanks can go there. Similar to another build we did, Heinz bars. So it's just obviously in the different markings. I think overall it's still a fairly decent rendition of his aircraft, and a pretty good rendition of the Messerschmitt 262. So what we'll do is we'll chuck the landing gear on there so you can have a bit of a look. So the landing gear does go on reasonably well. It does come with a small set of instructions which shows you where to put everything. You have a couple of aerials. You have the choice of the 2 different types of ordnances. I have put one of each on just to show you what they do look like. Obviously you'll either have the pair of those or the pair of those. Couple of little aerials. The rear landing gear goes on nicely. Front one goes on nicely. The only thing is with the front landing gear, it probably is a little bit basic. It doesn't have the little bay doors or anything like that for that, but it does for the rear landing gear. That's the only sort of thing I'd say would let it down a little bit. And it does have that sort of generic stand that they do come with, which goes on straightforward. And then Bob's your uncle. It's all done and complete. And that's another Messerschmitt 262 done. So we have done a couple of these. So hopefully we're not boring you too much with these. We'll just zoom in a little bit for you so you can see it a little bit better. And as I said, I think it's a pretty tough looking unit, as I like to say, because I think, for what it is, I think it's good value. The $35 I think is pretty good. And it is an aircraft from an iconic Luftwaffe pilot. So, yeah, well, you know the deal. I will take those photos of this without the sausage fingers in the way. And if you can afford us that chance, give us a bit of a like. That'd be awesome. And even subscribe to the channel if you can bother doing so. That'd be fantastic as well. All right, so yeah, once again, this is the Messerschmitt 262 A-1, White 3, as flown by Adolf Galland in March of 1945 until the end of the war. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as per usual, have a great rest of your day. Cheers, guys.